You recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relic's Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relic's Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. And you are live with Relic's Radio, and we are live here at the American Digger Magazine Chattanooga Civil War and Artifact Show and Sale. They will be here today, Saturday, and also tomorrow, Sunday. You can come by Camp Jordan Arena, and that address is 323 Camp Jordan Parkway, East Ridge, Tennessee. Adults are $10, and kids under 12 are free if they are accompanied by an adult. What's going on, Jeff? You having a good time?
Oh, yeah, having a great time. I guarantee if you've never been to a Relic show, you need to come. This is awesome. I've never seen so many relics under one roof in my life. I mean, some real good relics, too.
And there's going to be a little bit of noise here because we've got people that are almost right on top of our shoulders, you know. Everybody's looking, and there's booths and tables and everything set up around us. Going to be an abbreviated show. We will run this show probably for about 30 minutes. We're going to have two guests. Our first guest is Charlie Harris, and he is with American Digger Magazine. Hey, Charlie, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing fine.
Good. Tell us what you do for American Digger.
Actually, I helped Butch start the magazine, 14 years ago?
Yes, sir.
It started in his basement. I've handled the What Is It column in every issue, which is all these myriads of things that people dig. They have no idea what they are. That doesn't mean I know what they are either, but I do my best trying to come up with something.
You know people that know what they are.
Just about. And then I try to do at least one or two full-length articles every year, just kind of help along with the magazine. It's basically a non-paid position. I do it because I love it. I've been relic hunting since 1968. And I wish I still could, but my knee and my back won't let me anymore.
That's about the way everybody's getting right now. And how long you Butch know each other?
Since
Never Mesa Skunk too?
Yeah, that'd be about 1992 or 93, I think.
Right around there.
I kind of figured y'all was picking up bullets together when y'all was young.
No, we were.
No, he was dodging the bullets from the battle up around Lookout Mountain, and I was down in Georgia doing the same thing, dodging the bullets. But that means we know where more of the rest. You remember, Lloyd?
I remember. I remember.
Lloyd said he waited for the battle to be over with before he started collecting relics.
Yeah, I was at the Battle of Tompkinsville up in the 44 Woods. That's why I know where all those 44s are. What kind of background do you have, Charlie?
I went to military high school, then 4 or 5 years of college. I was going to be a mathematician. I got to the point where I couldn't see myself sitting behind a desk pushing a pencil the rest of my life. And I got into working with TVA, doing all the aerial photography for all the mapping, the contour mapping they did. I did that for 30 years, plus doing a lot of their publicity photography of the helicopters, which was it's not the highest paying job in the world by any means, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Plus the fact I was not sitting behind a desk pushing a pencil all the time.
Hey, Charlie, you're an author too.
Yes.
That I knew you as an author before you even came to work for the magazine. Tell us about the books that you've written, especially the Western campaign, which is in its third printing.
It went through 5 printings.
5 printings.
Actually, we printed 8,500 copies, I believe, and it's been sold out for about 15 years now.
Great Relic ID book if you can find it.
And Butch is trying to get me to get all this material to him to do a second one. Between him and me, we might get it done.
We're going to try.
I actually turned all the material over to my first publisher, and he held on to it for about 8 years, didn't do anything. So Butch kind of jumped in and volunteered, and
I'm a glutton. I love it.
I know you are.
I love it. Well, okay, Charlie, speaking of books, I want you to tell them, probably a little abbreviated version, but tell them about the book on the cave rifles and the story of the cave rifle.
This is a story that started about 65 years ago. I'm 77. When I was 10 years old, I went over to friends of my parents, and he had an old rusty rifle hanging over the fireplace. And he brought it down and showed it to me. He said, Charlie, this came out of was found in a cave on the side of Lookout Mountain. Well, I was raised on Lookout Mountain. I said, Bill, I'd love to have it. He said, no, you can come look at it anytime you want to, but you'll never get it. It took me 18 years to finally trade him out of it. And I found out, now this has kind of evolved from when I was 10 years old. I found out that there were 9 of them that were found in a cave. I have now taken 65 years. I got 6 of them back together again. The guy, when he died in the middle 1950s, they're sitting in the living room of the house. You have to be visiting the widow. She'd say, you showed interest, here, take one. I got no use for all that garbage. Consequently, they've gotten scattered all over the United States. One out of Chattanooga, one out of Ringgold, one out of Jasper, one out of Mobile, Alabama, one out of Sevierville, Tennessee, one out of Marietta, and I know where one is in Dallas, Texas. That's 7 of the 9. I finally acquired 6 of them, which got in my will to go to Chickamauga Park when I die.
And you've got those on display here, don't
yes,
you?
I do.
Yeah, I seen those over there a while ago.
And also the book that I wrote about the story of the cave guns. It's got 150-something photographs in it. It's basically, in a lot of ways, they say it's the story of my life. But it's been the search. It's been a 65-year search.
Oh, I bet it has.
And the name of that book is what?
The Lookout Mountain Cave Gun Muskets. And it's, as I say, it's a paperback book. I'm selling for $20.
Yeah.
And
well, briefly, just tell us the story of why you think those guns were there.
Well, they were, make it short and sweet, about 18 or 19,000 Confederates captured the Vicksburg July 4th, 1863. Their weapons were taken from them, and they were sent home. They are paroled, sent home on their honor. But they would not rejoin and go back to fighting until they are officially exchanged. One Yankee for one Confederate, they're officially exchanged. They now go back to war. Well, they were exchanged first part of October. They reformed in a little town called Demopolis, Alabama. They had relearned all their marching orders and all their maneuvers they're supposed to, but they had no weapons. And, well, you always have any military unit was called a midnight requisitioner. They found an outhouse, actually an outbuilding down by the railroad station, loaded with junk weapons. As General Moore says, they were fine for training, but useless as weapons of war. Some were bent, had a bent barrel. Some were missing the lock and firing mechanism. Some they had to carry the hammer in their pocket, put it on the fire, and put it back in their pocket again. This is actually true. Well, they were about the first part of November given orders to go to Chattanooga. You will receive new weapons when you get there. Guess what? No new weapons. Here they are stuck with these old junkers. Then they're giving orders to go to the foot of Lookout Mountain. You'll receive new weapons. Nope, no new weapons. Then around the 20th of November, it's sent up on the side of the mountain. Leave your tents. You'll receive new weapons and new tents up on the side of the mountain. Guess what? No new weapons, no new tents. And Mother Nature had a fickle fit. The wind started coming up, got to about 20, 25 miles an hour. The temperature dropped down into the single digits. They had 6 inches of snow that night. No new weapons and no tents. So my guess is a lot of them gravitated around to the west side of the mountain, which is limestone country. Limestone has caves. They hold up at a cave or a rock shelter. Okay, the next morning, before sunrise, General Joe Hooker shows up with 14,000 troops. The Confederates have a maximum of 2,500 on the side of Lookout Mountain. Battle started. Well, I think this one squad could not get back to the cave. They're up having breakfast with their buddies. Couldn't get back to the cave. They got pushed on. The rifles got left in the cave and weren't found in 1931.
Man.
This battle was not over till about 11 o'clock that night. You know, they always say one Confederate's worth 10 Yankees any day. Well, about a 7-to-1 ratio that day. They lasted from before sunrise to about 11 o'clock at night. It's a wonderful, wonderful story.
It sure is. It really is. I know it'd be funny. Well, it wouldn't be funny, but send a Confederate and say, "Hold on a minute, let me put my side lock on and then just put the gun back together real quick, and then fire it, and it come apart, and then you put it back together and fire it again."
Yeah.
So, man, the things they had to put up with.
Hey, Butch, he's telling us about the cave rifles and everything. Story, very interesting story on that, I tell you.
Did you tell them there's a book on that?
Yeah.
I've done.
And it is for sale at the show here, autographed.
Yes, for $20.
Good deal. And if you're in the area, come on down to Camp Jordan Arena, 323 Camp Jordan Parkway, East Ridge, Tennessee. We're here today. The show will go on again tomorrow. And if you're into Civil War and Civil War relics, you will certainly have your time well spent to come here. Charlie, we do appreciate you coming in.
You're welcome.
And Butch, just stay where you're at for a minute. We're gonna have Debbie come in from Mind Lab, but we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just when I thought I was out, they sucked me back in. Thank you, Charlie. Another reason to read American Digger magazine. Charlie Harris.
There you go.
Have you noticed how I just attract pretty women? A beautiful woman just walked up and sat right next to me.
Well, see, I was going to see if you wanted to trade seats. I mean, this microphone
It's
works
the
just
Mary
the same
Kay.
as that
I
one
stopped by the Mary Kay booth. It's the Mary Kay on my hands.
It must be, Butch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And
I'm
Debbie,
like a magnet.
Debbie, you're going to have to pull the mic a little bit closer to you and a little bit further away from
Butch?
Yeah, because he's a big mouth.
They
No.
say I'm loud.
I don't know why they would say that, Butch.
And we've got Debbie. How do you say your last name?
Smokowski.
Smokowski.
Yeah.
That's easy for her to say.
Ski. Ski is always good.
I just call her Debbie.
I do too. So glad to have you and representing Mind Lab here at the show today. And I just want to tell you that Jeff and I both have gotten the Equinoxes. It's the hottest thing that I've seen on the market in a long time, and I've been doing this since 1977.
Wow. It is a fun machine. It's been very exciting.
Yes, it really is. I mean, it's a great machine. The multi-frequency, I mean, that's a whole, it opens up a new ballpark. So
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah. The multi-frequency, the weight of it's so nice. It's
yeah.
just all around, it's a beautiful machine. Both
of course,
them.
you can look around at these guys. They don't need anything any heavier. I mean, they can barely carry themselves around. So it's helping the older people out, too. So.
I don't think we're going to take that. Do you, Butch?
I don't know. I just know that, gravity is a law and I obey the law.
Debbie, how many of those units have come into North America? Estimate, I know you don't know exactly, but
Thousands and thousands.
Thousands and thousands.
Yep.
Is there still a waiting list on that?
We're getting a little bit caught up on the back orders right now. I know there are dealers that still have waiting lists. More and more are coming in. I get them in every 7 to 10 days, and we turn around and get them out the next day.
Right.
So we're catching up, put it that way, but there's still a lot of demand out there for
And
them.
I know that some people are getting the 6-inch coils now.
Yeah, those just started shipping, I believe, a week and a half ago. So they'll come in and it'll be tight, a little constrained, and then we'll have more allocation as the factory ramps up. So you'll see those coming.
Was ManLab expecting the explosion that they've had with this machine?
No. We knew it was going to be, both the units were going to be really good machines. There was a definite demand for a multi-frequency detector and that type of price range, being waterproof and everything. And we really didn't have anything from MindLab at the time until we came out with the Equinox. So we knew it was going to be a great machine. We knew there would be demand for it, but nothing like we've seen.
Yeah. And I know earlier y'all were talking about the release of the coils. You're going to have the 6-inch and then a 17-inch. Is that right?
Actually, it'll be a 15 by 12 double D.
Okay.
And I would expect that probably late October, sometime November.
Okay. And it's just the demand of everything that has kind of thrown a monkey wrench into not being able to get everything out as quick as you want, hasn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. But, people have been very patient. I can't thank everybody enough for that. Dealers and consumers have been really great about it. And then, just getting the emails and the phone calls back of how much they enjoy it and what they found with it. It's a nice thing to hear.
Well, Jeff and I put out one of the first videos comparing, and we weren't really trying to, say anything good about MindLab and say anything bad about the others. We just he had a 600, we had a Deus, and we had an AT Pro. And I told Jeff, I said, when you get a signal, you holler. And it turned out to be just a little piece of brass. It was fairly deep. We all went over that. Jeff was the only one that could hear that. Now, the Deus could finally tune in and get that, but he was the only one that found that originally in the field. And so we did the video, and we put it out. Goodness gracious, Butch. I had to have armed guards around the house there for about 2 or 3 weeks. People just went crazy on me over that. And, as I said, we weren't trying to build up MindLab. We just did a natural field test with the thing. But
it was just two rednecks
good
out there with a metal
good.
detector. And then, the Deus, it could pick it up, but he had to change the frequency on it just to pick it up. But the Equinox, it was just a solid tone. And, it worked out great.
That's all due to that multi-frequency, the simultaneous multi-frequency. It's just, it's crazy. The machine is so fast, too, that you're getting in areas that you've been at before, but you can hear the good target over all the iron that might be in there.
Oh, yeah.
To go dig in there. So it's, there was nothing on the market at that type of entry-level pricing or mid-pricing that had multi-frequency and had the speed that it does.
Okay. So I haven't seen a video yet of the Equinox in coil pepper soil. Have you used it in coil pepper?
I had the prototype out at the last DIV dig. Now, we were getting about 6 to 8 inches, but what was really nice about it is that it was really locking onto the target. So in multi-frequency, when you get a target ID, it pretty much stays stable at that, it doesn't depend on how the item's sitting in the ground or the depth. That the multi-IQ will give you more accurate target IDs than other detectors will on the market. Yeah,
I dug a Barber Dime a week ago, and then, of course, when it laying flat, and of course it picked up good, even up on its side, it rang up good. So, that multi-frequency.
It does. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I learn more and more about it every time I take it out, and from users that are having it that have had more time on it than I actually have.
Yeah. And for the price range, you can't beat that.
No.
That's a great price, too.
And I tell you, one thing that has surprised me about this detector is you don't have any iffy signals. I may have had one that I could say that was kind of an iffy signal. If you're getting a repeatable signal, you've got something there.
And you want to dig it. You definitely want to dig it.
Why is that?
It's because it's the speed in which it's running. So it's hitting it several times as you're going over it instead of just one time, especially if you bump up that recovery speed, which is great for really, really trashy areas.
Right.
So it's separating that out. And then by running, 5 frequencies at the same time, you're giving the machine all this other information that it's looking for
as
it's going over the target. So
And Jeff and I we both got 600s. We don't have the 800s. The way I understand it is that the multi-IQ is the same on that as it is the 800, and you're not losing anything other than the gold prospecting and the ability to notch your tones and the recovery speed. You've got a few more notches on it and stuff, but you're not losing anything with the 600 is what I'm saying.
No, not at all. When you're in multi-frequency and you're in either park, beach, or field mode, they are running identically. The multi-IQ runs identically. To your point, you miss out on the gold mode, and that's primarily to get you nugget. It would be for nuggets, and you can run individually at 20 or 40 kilohertz.
Right.
But the 600 will pick up a gold chain lane, solid flat, just like the 800 will. And again, to what you had said, a little bit of programming you lose. You can do a pitch break or threshold break, but it's 1 compared to the 4.
Right.
And then your recovery speed on the 800, you've got 1 to 8. On the 600, it's 1 to 3, but that equals 2, 4, and 6 on the 800. So you can still get it up, crank it pretty fast.
Yep. That's what we've seen with it, and just an amazing machine. And, y'all didn't pay us to say that. I mean, it's just an amazing machine.
It's a good machine.
It is.
Absolutely.
But there's somebody out there who's going, they paid them to say that. They paid them to say that. But you're always going to have haters. So, but they didn't.
I am a witness to all this. No money has exchanged hands. This studio, as it were, mobile studio.
I can tell you too. What I really like about the Equinox, the initial people that had back orders in already had other detectors. They were adding to what they wanted, or they wanted the newest and greatest machine. But because of all of the build up and all the excitement around it, we're seeing a lot of people come into metal detecting that knew nothing about it before. But there's just such a hot buzz going around. They want to know what it's about. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it brings more people into the hobby as well.
Yeah. You had asked about Culpeper earlier. Craig Nesmith, who is actually manning the American Digger table for us right now, but he had the Equinox up at I've forgotten which one it was. It was last spring's hunt, I believe. Anyway, it was his first time out with it. And he got in a little spot that had a lot of trash. I went through there with a different detector. I just picked up trash. I moved on. He wound up, in addition to 2 large scents, found a Confederate wreath. And I went right through there. Other people were in there. Nobody else could find anything either. But he sucked that wreath out from amongst everything.
And that was at the bottom of the New York Camp Hill.
Oh, yes,
there
it was.
in the field right there. That's by
right.
where everybody parked.
Yeah.
I just walked right through it because you couldn't detect with the
You really
machine.
couldn't.
We had the PI. We had the GPX.
Something in there, but nothing spectacular. I just moved on through it because it was too trashy.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't have an Equinox then. That Equinox outdid everybody in that section.
Yes, it did.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, nobody could hold him alight with that.
Yeah, and in that section, I don't want people thinking that that go to DIV or in the Culpeper soil that they can take this machine and it's the end all be all.
No, this was in a very trashy area, and it
correct.
wasn't, depth was not that important as much as speed of signal.
Speed was more important, right.
It wasn't as hot either.
Right.
There.
Yeah, because we were at a place, as we went up the hill, it kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's still a VLF machine, so it's going to have, its cutoffs, parameters of what it can actually do, but in an area that was hot but was junky, that you could set up the speed high enough to recover and that you didn't need the depth. It definitely works well.
Yeah.
I know the main reason I got the Equinox is for the recovery speed. And of course, I've pounded old home sites to death, and then I've gone back to them, and it's become a new spot. I mean, it actually has. Now, I mean, I'm running it in recovery speed of 3. Of course, you're not getting that much depth, but I really don't need it. Now, I've got the GPX if I want depth, but you can't use the GPX at these home sites. So,
right, I mean, and that's what I liked about it, that you can actually get right up on a home site, no matter what wires or piping are around. That machine, I personally have not had it overload yet. Mm-hmm. So I put laid coins and done tests right up against metal with that, and I can still hear the coin target.
Oh yeah. We've dug several good targets in with like a big nail or something right over the top of them, and it just picks the corner of it up, and then it's a coin or something. And
if you just get that little blip that you hear, I'm personally digging it if I hear that.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. I dug a war nickel, and I mean, it was a beautiful tone. And I dug down, and it was about 6 inches deep. And whenever I got down there, it was a square nail that was rusted almost as big as my little finger. And I thought, was that what was ringing up? You know, that'll do that on an AT Pro sometime. I picked that up, and the war nickel was under that nail, under it. Yep. And, of course, I filmed all that, and I said, you know, if nothing else, that makes me a believer in this machine right here, is its ability to get in the trash and find that stuff, you know, that we just been passing up.
Yep, and with the Equinox, you definitely, to your point, you definitely want to check your hole after you pull out something, because it could be underneath there that you heard it and you think you pulled out the target. So
yeah, and a lot of times, and this is the case with any machine, once you break that halo, something can be a little bit deeper, and you can go back over it and not get a signal. So I would suggest go ahead and dig that hole out. If you were getting something that you thought sounded good, and when you dig it out, you've got something that you don't think that's what the signal was, go ahead and spend the time to dig a little bit deeper.
Without a doubt. And as always, when you get a new detector, build a test garden and keep practicing and listening to what the machine's telling you.
Yep. Davey, thank you so much for coming on with us.
My pleasure.
And best of luck to Mind Lab. And y'all got anything on the horizon, another game changer coming?
You never know.
You never know. Stay tuned. You never know. Well, we certainly do appreciate you coming on Relics Radio here tonight, this afternoon. Great show, isn't it, Butch?
It's awesome, absolutely awesome. And to have Debbie here talking about the Equinox, you know, I don't know if y'all mentioned it either, but it's waterproof too. And I'm a believer in any machine that comes out from here on out. They ought to look at making them waterproof.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
I like what Scott said whenever History Seekers were on a while ago. He said, you can take a shower with the thing, you know.
That's right. I'm a little concerned about the guys talking about taking showers with their detectors, though. But I'm a firm believer. I don't ask, I don't tell.
Hey, Butch, give out all the information again
you
here.
Better believe it.
About the show.
Folks, if you're listening to this, and of course you are listening to this, we are live at the Chattanooga Civil War and Artifact Show and Sale. This is a show put on by American Digger Magazine. This is the inaugural event, first time ever it's been done. It's at the Camp Jordan Arena, 323 Camp Jordan Parkway, East Ridge, Tennessee. It's open Saturday from 9 to 5. Of course, it's already past 9, so it's open till 5 today. And tomorrow it'll be open from 9 to 3. Adults are $10. Kids under 12 are free if accompanied by an adult. And guys, are you liking the show?
Oh, I love it.
We've heard nothing but positive things on this show.
I love it.
And like I said earlier, this is my first one. This is Lloyd's first one too. And I mean,
you're hooked.
It's unreal. I mean, it is really unreal. And
it is.
I'm sitting here. I can't concentrate by just looking all. I just found the bottles.
People ask, how can I learn about what I find? Well, of course, there's the books, and you need the books. Internet's good, but take it with a grain of salt, because you'll have, when Heath found his Cooking Brothers nose cap, people right and left were saying that was an Enfield. It wasn't. It was a Cooking Brothers. I knew it was a Cooking Brothers because I had learned that at these shows from one of the dealers who had a rare Confederate musket. I recognized the serial numbers on it. I learned that from actually being at the show. If you want to really learn what your relics are, start coming to these shows, walk around at the tables. If you see something that looks familiar, ask the dealer what it is. And there you go. That's the way you learn stuff.
That's the way you learn. By somebody that's been doing the hobby
exactly.
a lot longer than we have.
I would like to just estimate. Can't even begin to estimate how many years metal detecting experience are in this building, but it has to be. It's older than me and Lloyd put together, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's probably thousands.
That is old.
Years of detecting experience.
I know Heath made the comment yesterday, Thursday on our show, that not all these people have Facebook, not all of them have the internet, and then, of course,
no, they
these
don't.
guys are old timers, and then they know their stuff. And
they don't.
Dug it for years.
Not everyone is on the internet, believe it or not. That's why on the magazine, American Digger Magazine, which I'll put out a plug for it too. You guys can bill me for it, but, which I just did. But I lost my whole train of thought there. But I was plugging American Digger Magazine. There you go. That's all you need to know over it.
Yeah, and I was just looking around and thinking, you are rarely going to find this much knowledge and experience in one place when it comes to Civil War relics as you've got right here. Hey, guys, we're going to give a couple of shirts away. We're going to give one to Charlie Harris, and we're going to give one to Debbie. And I'm going to let Heath Jones do that. And me and Jeff are going to close our show out here. And we're going to come back in probably about 10 to 12 minutes with American Digger Magazine's Relic Roundup. So spread the word, and we'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We really do appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. Please take a minute and hit the like button and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Digging with Seven or Tennessee Jeff, or you can check us out on our Relics Radio Facebook page. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to diggingwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us next Thursday night, and until then, get out there and dig some history.